Welcome to our tutorial on data types. One great thing about Visual Basic is that it can automatically manage most of the details of your data for you. This is not the case with many other languages. Okay, let me talk about data type. Data type refers to how data is stored in your computer's memory. Data can be stored in memory as integers, strings, real numbers, and so on. There are many data types. Now, even if Visual Basic lets you use data without explicitly declaring it, the downside of this is that the execution could potentially be slower and memory usage less efficient. This would impact you if your program is quite large. However, there is another reason to explicitly declare your variables as a particular data type, is that Visual Basic can perform additional error checks for you. This will save you time and frustration down the road. Error checking can be a real hassle, involving bugs which are pretty tough to find sometimes. In this tutorial, I'm going to take you through a few examples of data types. The first data type I'd like to discuss is a byte. A byte uses 1 byte or 8 bits. It holds integers ranging in value from 0 to 255. Another data type is Boolean. It stores values in 2 bytes or 16-bit. It holds 2 values, true or false. These terms are known as reserved words in the Visual Basic language. Basically, they can't be used for any other purposes. Another data type is the integer type. It is stored in 4 bytes or 32 bits. It can hold values from approximately -2 billion to +2 billion. Another data type is the long data type. It is stored in 8 bytes or 64 bits. It stores a value range from -9.2 to the power of 18 to +9.2 to the power of 18. That's a big number. Next is the single data type, which uses 4 bytes or 16 bits, and it can range in value from -3.4 to the power of 38 to +3.4 to the power of 38. The single data type is what's called a floating point number. In a floating point number, the decimal point isn't fixed. It floats. The advantage of floating point representation over fixed point representation is that the former can support a wider range of values, with a greater degree of accuracy. Here on the left is an example of a floating point number. On the right are examples of fixed point numbers. As you can see, the fixed point number, in order to represent the same number with the same degree of accuracy, requires a greater number of digits in the string. Another data type is called double. The approximate value range is -1.7 to the power of 308 to +1.7 to the power of 308. Basically, the double is a bigger version of the single, and it's also a floating point number, uses 8 bytes. Date is yet another data type. This is held in 8 bytes and represents dates that range from January 1st, the year 1, to December 31st, the year 9999. The time can be anywhere from midnight 00:00:00 to 23:59:59. Time can be measured down to the level of 1/100th of a nanosecond. The object data type is stored as 4 bytes, and it stores any object reference. The object variable can also refer to the data of any value type: Boolean, string, integers, etc. The next data type we'll be looking at is called the string data type. This data type can hold up to 2 billion Unicode characters. Generally, it's a good idea to use a data type containing a smaller number of bytes. From Visual Basic's perspective, the fewer the bytes, the faster the execution speed. In this tutorial, I've reviewed the major data types. While there are many more data types used in Visual Basic scripting, these will provide plenty of fodder for our course on Visual Basic. And this concludes my tutorial about data types.